Hi everybody, this is Earl, Ten-acious Baseball League. I'm going to do a TBL extra video right now. I've been mentioning about this defensive hold system that I've been working on, and I've been utilizing it for the last couple of game days. I don't think it's perfect. There may be some kinks to work out, but I figured I would put it out here for wider digestion to see what other people think. My issue that I've had is that I get a little bit, I mean, and still there can be some hesitancy because I hate to feel like I'm doing wrong by a team, whether they're in the field or whether they're at bat. And so what I decided to do was to set some parameters based on mostly the catcher and his arm to decide whether or not, or basically which level of base runner or steal threat they will be, holding. How aggressively they will hold guys on base. And what really this comes down to is because early in the season, I was basically holding everybody on because when you watch a ball game, you see almost everybody at first held on by the first baseman. I mean, it's rare, unless it's like a late game and it's a big lead or something, that they just lay off them because they know that there's really no chance they're going to take off or try the hit and run or anything like that. Strat is a little different. We're going off of percentages, and I think one thing that Strat has a tough time accounting for is the while of certain players. Sometimes you get these long, odd chances that you just never try. I mean, who here in their right mind really tries a steal of home? I mean, it's just like such a low percentage chance. It's probably even lower percentage in most cases than, simply hoping for a hit. I think, if he's not being held on, a double A guy is going to be at least in the basic and advanced game, going to be 1 to 7 chance. That's 350. If you have a good hitter at the plate, 350 is probably about, especially if it's a clutch hitter. You're talking maybe equal chance with 2 outs to try and take a bag. But see, what I'm saying is like, if you watch the Padres, a couple of the plays they made in 2016, clearly they had a game plan. And I think it's difficult in Stratomatic to say, okay, well, we're just going to get one over on these guys because they're just not paying attention. You can't really customize it that well. In super advanced, it probably does a little better job, but still I don't think it's nearly good enough. So I guess what I'm saying is in the advanced mode, you have situations like guy held on first. It's going to take your whole defense and say, if it's a hit to shortstop, if it's a ground ball to shortstop and you're holding the runner on first, boom, that's a single 2-star. It doesn't take into account that, might be a right-handed hitter. What are the chances that a right-handed, that the shortstop is going to cover second on a right-handed hitter, even if like the guy would fake a break, from first to second on like a fake steal or something just to try and pull him out. It wouldn't. It would be the second baseman running over there. So, I mean, unless it's a guy who they expect to take it in the hole to the other way. So, I guess what I'm saying is that the penal nature of the advanced system makes it a little tougher to then say to yourself, I'm willing to accept that I'm going to hold everybody on first. So because of that reality, and that you really, you've basically simplified things in order to make the game more interesting. There's some dilemmas. When you're playing a solo game, it makes it tougher because then you have to choose for both teams, and then you have this idea that I've got to, if I do this, then that, and so what it really does is it means that if I choose to not hold a runner on, then that makes a D 1-9, and if the catcher is a +2, that's 1-11. It's actually not such a bad chance if you've got 2 outs. So it just opens it up. So I guess what I'm saying is that I would kind of like to have something that's going to say, this is it. This is based on the catcher's arm. It's going to be somewhat variable, but it's going to be set every game. You know, each game based on the catcher, we're going to have these parameters based on the role. And I'm going to turn you around now, and I'm going to show you what that is. I've posted it on, I think it was on the Stratomatic Facebook page. I was looking for some feedback, and so now I'm going to open it up to you guys. Let me know what you think, if this is viable. I know it's not perfect yet. There may be some tweaks that need to be made, but see what you think. So here we go. Okay, so this is a card to kind of sum it up. This is what I'm going to put up on my wall here on the back side of my setup to try and condense it into a shorter format so it's easier to see. So this is basically what it comes down to. You take your catcher arm. So for instance, I'm going to be playing a game with the Tigers and the Cubs here in a minute. Alex Avila is the catcher for the Tigers. He has a 0 arm. So you would take the arm, and then you would roll the D20. And so I'm going to roll it down here. I don't know if I guess you won't be able to see it. But I'll roll it right here into the camera. Maybe it'll stop here. Okay, so it's a 3. So then you take the 3 and you say, okay, let's line it up here. 1 to 5, semi-tight. So I have 4 designations of what, four designations, and some of them aren't attainable based on the arm. So a -4 has no reason to really play very tight because the arm is good enough to get the guy at second base. So there are going to be times when you might be able to even play loose where you're really not holding many guys on. But the 3 in this case would be semi-tight, which then means that if there's a runner on first, if he's a D stealer or better, the team is going to hold them on. And from second base, it'll be a C stealer or better. So just to explain a little further, so let's say you do have a -4, and let's say he rolls a 15, like a Yachty or Molina type. Then it's going to be a B and above that holds on for that loose defense. So they're really going to not pay much attention to the runner because they know that Molina can throw the guy out pretty easily. A C stealer who gets a 1 to 11, you subtract 4 from that, that's a 1 to 7 chance. How many guys are really going to take that chance, even with 2 outs? I think, I roll the dice sometimes with that, but that's still pretty slim chances. I don't know, even with Molina, you might even be able to go to a next level up and say -4 and -5, and then go -2 and -3, and like demarcate a little more and say, you know what, you're going to play extremely loose and just say, I'm only going to hold the A runners. I mean, there might be somebody who does that just because an A not being held on is 1 to 15. You're going to get 1 to 11. That's going to, if there are going to be a lot of guys who play the stat lines and say, you know what, even a 55% chance just is not a good reason to try and steal. And so they'll just, you can get away with not even holding on an A. Well, an A, I don't know. You probably still want to hold on an A, but, a B runner, you could get away with saying, okay, well, 1 to 13, it's going to be 1 to 9. 45% is just pretty slim. So you get semi-loose, which is going to be C, and holding it second a B. So you get your good arms all the way up to your mediocre. Will play that sometimes. Mediocre arm holding only so not holding a D on. So if you don't hold a D on and you're let's say a +2, you're going to take that to 1 to 11. With 1 out, I'm probably going to think about doing that just because, especially if I'm, I need to goose the score along. Or, again, if you're ahead and you're just trying to maybe catch a break, that might be good enough for you. I mean, we're talking a game of low odds when it comes to, getting base hits. to try and score from first. You need 2 in a row. So, 55% chance to get to second base and maybe get a single 2-star. It might be worth it for some guys. Other guys, they might just say, you know what, we're playing it straight up and we'll take what we get. It might also depend on the team you have assembled. If you have a lot of good hitters, and talking, 3 or 4 solid or maybe even more, solid 300 hitters or, 350, 400 on-base percentage guys, maybe you're more willing to let it ride and not worry about stealing. Other people might need to play the small ball a little more and try to squeeze every run out they can. So then you get down to, tight. So a 3 and up. I don't know if I've seen a 3 arm yet. I should look here at Schwarber. What is his arm at? So he's a +2 arm behind the plate. So, it's getting close. There probably aren't that many I should really look through and see, because maybe what I need to do is say +2 and up. And anyway, the +3 and up, the really bad arms, only really have tight and semi-tight available, which really makes sense. It's like the trouble with that is you're really opening up holes for the base hits to get through. But if you're having to use a catcher that's of that ilk, I'm not sure how else you prevent guys from stealing on you at will. You get even a D guy, holding him on, you keep him at, if you're +3, 1 to 8's probably not going to do much. But, an A stealer being held with a +3 is a 1 to 16. Almost everybody's going to take that chance, try and get to second. 80% odds, that's pretty good. So that's what I have for now. Like I said, I don't think it's perfect yet. I think it's an interesting, it's been a thought that I've had here since starting playing here in the middle of last year. Just, the dilemmas that come up that make you really think about, why am I doing this? Am I helping one team or hurting the other? I will say that there was a time in a game recently that I felt like I might have hurt a team because I set them tight and held everybody on. Like I said, you're opening up holes. I don't know. You don't do it, and then you end up, like I said, getting lots of runners to second base that merely get to first on a walk or whatever. So that's what I have for now for the advanced defensive hold system. I'm going to keep using it. I don't think it, at the very least, I don't believe it hampers the game at all. It makes you make a choice early on, or not even a choice. It makes a roll. It gives you a flat-out decision on what you're doing. And I'll tell you what, later in the game, if you decide that the situation means that I need to abandon that, I don't think there's anything saying you can't. But it just gives you a strong guideline to be able to say, in the midst of playing the game, okay, I'm approaching this from the standpoint, this is a given. He's holding my D runner on. Okay, I can't steal with him. Or, ooh, he's not holding a C runner on. Now I might have a chance here. So, that would be like a -2 to 0 arm. You have a 5%, a 25% chance of getting that, which, let's say a -2 guy with a C stealer not being held on, it's still 1 to 9. I don't know. Some guys might be willing to take that depending on the situation. So anyway, let me know what you think. If there are any other adaptations that could be made. I think it's just trying to address a problem that is inherent in trying to simplify things for, away from super advanced. Once you get to super advanced, I think it becomes a little more, there's still choices to be made, but, it really comes down to guys getting good leads and such, and you really know which guys you have to hold on. And even then, you might still want to hold everybody on. It really, you don't lose nearly the defensive, what do I want to call, efficacy The defensive efficacy is better in super advanced because you're not cutting down everybody because you're holding on a guy at first. Ground ball to third doesn't get affected. Ground ball to, basically a lot of other ground balls don't end up getting hurt. So anyway, that's where we stand. Again, leave feedback, comments, questions, further clarification. I can, answer more questions in the comments. So, Advanced Defensive Hold System. I guess I could call it ADHS if you really want to. Just a way to try and take a couple extra decisions out of the game so that you don't feel conflicted that you're biasing one way or the other. So, thanks for watching. Till next time, this is Earl, and I hope you all strat on and have fun with your projects.